All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the science and the real-world strategy behind building habits that can truly make you unstoppable. We're going to get into the blueprint for becoming the architect of your own success.
So let's kick things off with this really powerful idea from James Clear. It's this idea that everything about you today, your wins, your struggles, the whole shebang, it's all a direct result of the tiny little things you do day in and day out.
And look, this isn't just some feel-good quote. Research from Duke University found that a staggering 40% of your daily actions are not conscious choices, they're automatic routines. I mean, think about that for a second. Almost half of your day, you're on autopilot. So the big question is, are you the one programming that autopilot, or is it just running on its own?
And this right here brings us to what I like to call the habit paradox, because our habits, well, they're a total double-edged sword. You see, on one hand, these shortcuts are amazing. They free up our brain power so we can focus on the big stuff. But, and this is a huge but, they can also lock us into these patterns that are actively working against what we really want. And the craziest part? We don't even see it happening.
So to really get why this happens, you gotta understand that there are basically two different brains inside your head. And yeah, they're in this constant tug of war for who's in charge.
There's this great neuroscience study that just nails this point. Picture it. You're at some event on the weekend, there's a snack table, and boom, you see a box of donuts. Without even thinking, your hand just grabs one. And then a split second later, your conscious brain kicks in and is like, wait, we're on a diet. That little moment of conflict, that's your autopilot brain winning the race before your thinking brain even tied its shoes.
And that little donut drama, it happens because of these two systems. You've got your goal-directed brain, that's the planner, the one that thinks about the future. It's flexible. But then you've got the habitual brain. And that thing is a machine. It's totally automatic, super rigid, and it just reacts to triggers, to cues in your environment.
So here's the absolute key takeaway. The secret to becoming unstoppable isn't about using sheer willpower to fight your bad habits. No way. It's about reprogramming that autopilot. It's about getting that incredibly powerful automatic part of you to start working for your goals instead of against them.
Okay, so how in the world do we actually do that? How do we take the controls of that autopilot? Let's dive into a super practical 3-step blueprint. And seriously, you can start using this stuff today.
It's actually pretty simple, but don't let that fool you. It's incredibly powerful. It boils down to just 3 key areas: who you want to be, the space around you, and just showing up. Identity, environment, and consistency. Let's break them down.
All right, step 1. This is a biggie, a total mental shift. Most people start with what they want to achieve, right? Like, I want to lose 20 pounds. We're going to flip that. Instead, you start with who you want to become, the identity. So it's not I want to lose weight, it's I want to be a healthy person. See the difference? Suddenly, every choice you make is just a simple question. What would a healthy person do right now?
Okay, step 2 is all about designing your environment. And listen, this is so important because motivation, it comes and goes. It's unreliable. But your environment, it's always there, pushing and pulling you in certain directions. So the game is to make the good habits super easy, super obvious, and make the bad habits difficult and out of sight. You want to read more? Don't hide the book on a shelf, put it right on your pillow. Trying to eat better? Get that fruit out on the counter and bury the junk food in the back of the pantry.
Think about it. That couch right there is a classic trigger. You finish work, you collapse onto it, and what happens? You automatically reach for your phone and an hour disappears. So, if you want to change that habit, you have to mess with the trigger. What if, right next to that exact spot on the couch, you put your running shoes or that book you want to read? You're literally engineering a new automatic response.
And that brings us to step 3, mastering consistency. Look, the hardest part of any new habit isn't doing the thing itself. It's just getting started. It's that initial friction. And that's where the 5-minute rule is pure genius. You want to start meditating? Just commit to 5 minutes. Want to write a book? Just write for 5 minutes. Anybody can do something for 5 minutes, right? It totally short-circuits that mental negotiation and just gets you moving.
And this is where the magic really happens. And Oprah just says it perfectly. Every single time you keep a promise to yourself, even a tiny 5-minute promise, you're casting a vote for that new identity. You are literally building trust with yourself. And that self-trust, that is the rock-solid foundation of genuine, unshakable confidence. So, okay, the blueprint is simple enough, right? Identity, environment, consistency. But we all know that life loves to get in the way.
So let's get real and talk about those barriers that are definitely going to pop up.
Yeah, let's just tackle the big 3 excuses head on. First up, I don't have time. The solution isn't to magically find more hours in the day. It's to make the habit smaller. So small you can't say no. Next, I'm not motivated. Okay, stop waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. It won't. Instead, reconnect to your why. Remember that identity you're building. And finally, I can't do this alone. You know what? You don't have to. Find an accountability buddy. Tell your family. When you share your goals, you create this incredible positive pressure to follow through.
Look, at the end of the day, becoming unstoppable isn't some huge, dramatic event. It's not a single moment of transformation. It's just 1,000 tiny, almost unnoticeable steps in the right direction. It all starts by building trust with yourself, one small promise at a time. So that really leaves just one question for you, the most important one of all. What's one small promise you are going to keep to yourself today?